Alright, rock and roll. Welcome to Firearms of America. Today, as you guys can see, I'm out here at Shooters in Fort Myers, Florida, about to do another comparison. And I have to say, I wanted to do this comparison for quite some time now. And this is the comparison between one of my top favorite, I think one of the best concealed carry choices that you can make in 2023 in 9mm Sig Sauer P365 X Macro. Yes, 17 rounds. 17 rounds in the magazine. Very, very impressive. 3.1 inch barrel, although I have to say the barrel is actually shorter than the slide. As you can see, the compensator here is built into the slide, and the barrel is actually goes only up to right here. So yes, it might be a 3.1 inch barrel, but the length of the slide is a little bit longer. Keep that in mind. And I have, again, I think one of the top choices, best choices that you can make in 2023 whenever it comes to concealed carry in 9mm. We have Springfield Hellcat Pro. Yes, also in 9mm. 15 rounds in the magazine, 3.7 inch barrel. And check these two guys out. Check this out. Let me put them like that. Now, both of these, as you can see, have the option for an optic. Both of these are practically exactly the same size. As you can see, the frame, the thickness, the length. That is going to be a very, very, very interesting comparison. So let's put some rounds in the magazines and do some shooting. Today I'm going to be shooting unbiased Italian ammo from Fiocchi. Yes, 124 grain, 9mm. So let's put that ammo in the magazines, and honestly, I'm really excited about this one. Now, while I'm loading these magazines, I wanted to say, give a shout out to Anatoly, who is just met here in the store, who's watching the videos, and who's gonna lend me one of his guns to do the review on. And with that being said, I wanted to remind everyone that this channel, I don't have any sponsorships on this channel. I don't have any paid advertising. All the guns that I review on this channel, all the ammo reviews, gear reviews, everything that I do on this channel is really my personal opinion, with the experience of the friends that I have who taught me a lot of things whenever it comes to more, tactical combat situations. But everything on this channel that you see is completely unbiased, all right? There's no paid advertising on this channel. Yes, with that being said, if you have a gun that you would trust me enough to do a review on, send it my way and I'll do a review on it. I'll pay for the shipping, and I promise that I'm not gonna sell it on Arabian black market. Yeah, you can trust this channel. It's a very trustworthy channel. So, got 5 rounds in both magazines. Gotta say, the Sig Sauer magazine is a little bit easier to load. They have actually an orange follower, if that reminds you of something. I'm not even gonna go there. I'll leave it alone. Okay, so look at that. Check this out. Now you have a Sig Sauer magazine, a little bit taller, but I have to say it's a little bit more tapered at the very top. So you can do just a little bit easier to do emergency reloads with the Sig Sauer magazine. But both of them are excellent. Both of them are nicely window numbered, so you can see exactly how many rounds you have in there. Let's do some shooting and see what these things can do. Now, as you can see, my targets today are destroyed. I honestly don't know what happened there. Look at this. Look at that. It's like somebody was shooting a flamethrower at that target. So I will aim at this little white circle down right here. And I know it's a little bit hard to see on this camera, but I'll try my best. We'll do some shooting at the little white circle, and then I'll try to shoot the flappy paddles. Okay, so P365X, since it has more rounds, so let's start with that. Okay, very easy to rack. I have to say, excellent ergonomics. Let's put a few shots. Very, very nice group right there at the very, just over the bullseye. Let's see what we can do with the Hellcat Pro. a little bit harder to rack than the Sig. Excellent ergonomics as well, a little bit more squared, but not a bad feel. Different sides, obviously. Let's see what we can do. Nice. And not too shabby of a group on that one as well, although I had a few rounds, but I was kind of going a little bit faster. So let's start from the very beginning as I do the review so we can keep everything structured. Let's start with the grip. Now, like I said, on the Hellcat Pro, you do have a little bit of a more squared feel at the back of the grip. Not bad at all. Personally, I do prefer more of a nice rounded grip, and it's a little bit thinner. It's a little bit less real estate on the grip here on the Sig Sauer. Just a little bit this square feel right here, and you probably see it here, this angle. Again, you might appreciate it more than the Sig Sauer. It really is a personal preference, because you do have some finger grooves. I love the finger grooves. The stippling is fantastic. Probably one of the best aggressions overall on the grip in general that you can find these days on a handgun that is not hand stippled, but more like standard factory laser stipple. Excellent, excellent aggression. Feels very, very good. Provides plenty of aggression. And as you can see here, you have some more of it. And even here, serving kind of like a gas pedal on the Hellcat Pro. Very nice. I have to say, I really appreciate it. Pretty good. But like I said, overall ergonomics, I do prefer on the Sig Sauer P365, just because it is a little bit more rounded. It feels a little bit thinner in my small hands, but overall I think this just works for me a little bit better. Now I wish there were more grooves for more fingers over here, but again, not a big deal. Just kind of you know, again, personal preference. Again, the stippling is absolutely fantastic. Very nice aggression. I do miss the possibility for a little gas pedal over here. I wish they implemented it here as well. Again, not a big deal, but something for you to keep in mind. Now let's talk about the magazines really quickly. One thing that I wanted to mention here, as you can see, there's a little bit kind of grip here on the Sig Sauer P365. There isn't like that much of a real estate on the Hellcat Pro magazine. So a tactical reload, if you're doing a tactical reload, you might find it a little bit easier with the P365. Now let's talk about the mag release. As you can see, there's a very nice triangle mag release over here. It is not ambidextrous, and it does have some serrations on it, so there is a little bit of aggression. When you press it, your magazines fly out quite nicely. Now on the Hellcat Pro, it's not as, I would say, as accented. Okay, with my accent it's kind of hard to say, but it's not as accented, so it's more of it's more flatter, a little bit harder to catch in my opinion. The serrations here, but again, they're not as distinct. However, there's a one advantage of it. As you can see here, I mean, it's like spring loaded in there. The magazines, they just fly out. So if you are doing an emergency reloads with this, you're gonna appreciate a little bit more. Tactical reloads, more with the P365. Emergency reloads, with the Hellcat Pro. All right, let's move on further to the slide release. Very tiny slide release here on the Hellcat Pro. Not ambidextrous, it's tiny, it's not as easy to catch, but you can still catch it. It's very similar to Glock. In fact, I do have Glock 43 hanging around here. Very similar. Now with the P365, it's a little bit of a different kind of approach to the slide release. It's a little bit further down, as you can see, if you compare them back to back. As you can see, the slide release or slide stop, however you want to call it, on the Hellcat Pro is a little bit to the back, which makes it, for me at least with my short fingers, easier to catch than on P365. However, on P365 it's a little bit more defined, and again we got We don't have a one-hand operation on P365. Do we not have a P365? Wait a second, let me put a round in it. Because I'm pretty sure with a round, you will. Aha! There you go. So if you do have a round in the magazine, which normally you would, you do have a one-handed operation. And it's very easy to drop. Not without the round in the magazine, however. I do have to say it's easier to catch with a finger, but it is further down. All right, let's move on further to the slide. Now, there are some serrations on the slide, at the back, at the front on P365. Same thing with the serrations on Hellcat Pro at the back and at the front. Again, a little bit more aggressive serrations on the P365, so it's easier to catch. And overall, I think, let me just play with it a little bit more. Yeah, it is tiny a little bit, just barely noticeable, easier to rack on the P365. Okay, so let's load up a few more rounds in both. And I really want to concentrate on the recoil, because technically, if your firearm is easier to rack, right? It means that you have a lighter spring in the guide rod assembly. So with a lighter spring in the guide rod assembly, you do get a little bit more energy transferring to your hands during the recoil, whenever you're firing around. So technically, P365 should be going through a little bit more recoil in its life. But here's the thing, P365 has a compensator at the slide, on the slide. So I think that's what is really helping to kind of manage the recoil. Let me try to hit some of these flippy pedals. I don't know if I can hit them with these guns, but we'll find out. Okay, P365 first. And one miss. Hellcat Pro. And one miss. Okay, so I have to say, I think there might be just a tiny little bit less of a recoil on the P365. I think that compensator is definitely doing its job. However, with the compensators in general, there's a little bit of negative aspect. And if I don't forget, at the end of this review, because we'll have to go and turn off the light, I'm gonna demonstrate it. If I don't forget, I'll try not to forget. But let's get back to the comparison and start talking about both of these again. Now, again, both of these, they're not ambidextrous at all whatsoever. Not the mag release, not the slide stop, slide release, not anything, all right? So yes, if you're lefty, unfortunately, well, you're left out. Lefty, left out. Let's talk about let's talk about the sights, and I'll start with the Hellcat Pro over here. Now, the Hellcat Pro features Springfields. They did the same thing on the regular Hellcat. It's that kind of U-shape rear sight, and then the front sight is very nicely accented with this bright yellow or green or whatever the color is. But very easy to catch, pretty good for accuracy shooting, pretty good for fast target acquisition in combat situations. All right. Now let's get back to the our Sig Sauer and Springfield Sig Sauer is getting confused between the two. Again, standard 3-dot sight, very nice sights, I have to say. Again, you have more traditional rear sight here, and then the front sight is very nicely accented. This is definitely green, can't confuse it with yellow, but again, same thing, pretty decent for, you know, decent accuracy shooting, just because it's more traditional rear sight. I would say a little bit better than that U-shaped type of stuff. Personally, I'm not a fan. Again, it's really a personal preference. You might like that a little bit more. Let's talk about the triggers though. Trigger is gonna be an interesting one. So, start with the P365. We have very nice flat trigger, feels very, very good. Not much of the pre-travel, about 3.5, 4 millimeters, nothing crazy. And then once you hit the wall, it's very clear that you did. And then you have a little bit of this, kind of unpredictable, a little bit, might take some time to get used to this, and then a crisp break. So that second stage before the break, it might throw you off, but again, if you practice enough on the range, you will be completely fine with it. Let's talk about the Springfield Hellcat Pro trigger. Now, as you can see here, you have your pre-trigger. Yes, kind of like a safe action system on the Glock, very similar. Serves as a drop safety, serves as a psychological kind of, ooh, I have my finger on the trigger, even though I don't. Pretty good. Overall, I do like it. It's more rounded, the trigger overall here though, compared to the Sig Sauer. It feels a little bit more spongy on the very first kind of stage. Once you hit the wall though, it's very clear, and then you have this. Very similar to the Sig Sauer second stage, kind of unpredictable, but again, fairly easy to get used to if you train enough, and then a crisp break. Very similar triggers. On that second stage on the Hellcat Pro, you have just a tad little bit more, so it's a little bit easier to catch compared to the Sig Sauer trigger. Again, I'm not saying that is bad, this is good, or anything like that, but I think I personally would prefer the Hellcat Pro trigger. I think it's just a tiny little bit more manageable, all right, and a little bit easier to learn. And to me, it's very important to learn. Now, on both of the handguns, you have the Picatinny 1913 accessory rail for your X300. That's really the only thing I would recommend. Or if you want to save some money, TLR1 H or HL, I think it's called high lumens, 1000 lumens. I do recommend one. And in fact, guys, if you want to see a review, I rarely do gear reviews on this channel, but if you would be interested in a review, like for example, you know, a flashlight, X300, TLRs, whatever, let me know in the comments below. I wouldn't mind doing the review of that as well. Same thing, you have the accessory rail here on the Sig Sauer. You have the optics cut out. Yep, if you want to put your well, whatever, Trigon RMR. I don't know if the RMR is actually going to fit in this because it's thinner, so you probably have to go with like a Holosun, something from Holosun. They do have a few good, or Shield R, I think there's a good optic as well. But again, I'm pretty new to optics on the handguns, so I'm the only one I really know as much of, you know, pretty much anyone else is RMR. Yeah, can't go wrong with the RMR. But let's talk about some safety features. And I think I do prefer, whenever it comes to safety, passive safety. We're not talking about the active safety. There is no manual safety switches on any of these handguns, so we're not even going to talk about that. But there are some passive safety features, and I wanted to show it off. Let's start with the Hellcat Pro, and that is the loaded chamber indicator. Now, as you can see, there's a little cutout here, the barrel, between the barrel and the slide, right here, and you don't see anything in it. So I'm gonna put one round in the chamber. So there's a round in the chamber now, and you can clearly see it. Very good. I think that's a great passive safety indicator. Just not necessarily something that you're like, oh yeah, ooh, is there? You always have to check your firearm anyway, but little features like this, I think they bring something to the table. Now there's a very similar thing here on the Sig Sauer, same cutout at the barrel and the slide. So I'm gonna put the round in the chamber and see how that looks. Ooh yeah, and you can see that pretty clearly. Very nice. So both of these handguns feature passive safeties like the loaded chamber indicator, except with the Hellcat Pro you are also getting the pre-trigger that you're not getting on the Sig Sauer. Okay, I did not forget, let's do that negative impact of the compensator, and you can see that if I do it in the dark. So I'm gonna turn off the light. Alright, so we're in complete darkness, and then besides the compensator, I also wanted to mention another very important thing about the sights, because both of these handguns feature the night sights, but there is a huge issue with the Springfield Hellcat Pro. All right, check this out. Yeah, we're in complete darkness almost. This is the front sight of the Springfield Hellcat Pro. As you can see, it glows very nicely, and yeah, that's the only thing you see, because the rear sights are actually not night sights, which is really weird why Springfield decided to do that compared to Sig Sauer, which features both rear and front night sights. And as you can see, you can acquire target fairly easy with that. That is if you can see the target. Okay, so let's load up a couple rounds in the magazines. I'll do 3 rounds, and what I want you to pay attention, I'll do some shooting with the Hellcat Pro so you can see the flash of the regular barrel without the compensator. And then I will do some shooting with the Sig Sauer P365 with the compensator. And I want you to pay attention to the flash and see if you see any difference. Okay, so my headgear. Now we're gonna point some light over there, just a little bit, so that I don't shoot the ceiling. I got the night sights on the Sig Sauer that actually do work, and on the Hellcat Pro, well, I'll just do my best and forget the rest. Okay, so and now Sig Sauer P365 with the compensator. Okay, so I hope you guys can see the difference, because I can definitely see the difference. You can see the burst of the flame basically coming up from the straight. I mean, it really is the purpose of the compensator. That's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to direct that, well, basically explosion going upwards, so that it kind of compensates for the recoil kicking your gun up. So explosion going up, pushing the gun down, while the recoil pushes the gun up, it kind of balances out the recoil just a tiny little bit. But with that, you have to keep in mind that you have, in a darker situation, you have that explosion going up. And in this situation, it wasn't as bad. I mean, we don't have as hot of an ammo, but if you are carrying something like, you know, spear gold, hollow points, which is what I would recommend, you know, carrying for a concealed carry, maybe even plus P, right? So hotter rounds. With hotter rounds, you will have, well, let's just say a little bit more of that explosion going up. So it's not necessarily going to blind you or anything like that, but it can definitely throw you off. And that's one of the negative aspects of having the compensator on your firearm. So let me know in the comments below, guys, what do you think about this comparison? Which gun would you prefer? Hopefully I was able to help you with this video to decide between these two very popular choices. Honestly, if it was for me, I would go probably with a Glock 40. But you already probably knew that because you've been subscribed to the channel. If you haven't, you will subscribe, and you'll find out. But let me know in the comments below if you have any requests for reviews or comparisons, and if we have that here in stock in shooters, I will be very happy to address. As always, thank you very much for sticking around. Always appreciate your time. This is Firearms of America. God bless you all, and I'll see you in the next video.